And what we do is we want to get the sample from a meter below the surface, so we have to plunge it really fast vertically down to a meter and then pull it up. So it fills up with water at the meter mark versus at getting the gook off the surface.
This is attorney Tina Myers. She and her crew, aboard a 16-foot Sea-Dory cruiser, are collecting samples of the middle and northwest branches of the Patapsco River.
Now I have the sample, and what we'll do is then pour it into the 3 bottles, the one for the bacteria, the one for the nutrients, and the one for chlorophyll. And then those go into ice in the coolers, and later we'll take all the samples to the lab for processing.
Myers, a former staff attorney at the University of Maryland Environmental Law Clinic, accepted the role of Baltimore Harbor waterkeeper in March 2012. In doing so, she joined scores of other attorneys worldwide that serve as waterkeepers, river keepers, coast keepers, basin keepers, and the like.
So it's kind of interesting how the waterkeepers kind of all across the country and the world tend to take law and science and use those together to advocate for water quality. And I think people that go for a science degree tend to find that they're lacking and they need to know more about the law, and those that go for the legal degree are like, hey, I need to know more about the science. So it's really helpful as a waterkeeper to kind of have both backgrounds. I kind of took the same approach with the science undergrad and then going for law school. I think that's really helpful when you're dealing with regulators and the polluters themselves, and just the public being able to sort of explain the legal and the scientific piece of it in an easy to understand way is really important. So.
Yeah. From April to November, Myers and her crew sampled 30 sites along the river. The sites are set based on the potential for body contact recreation. They are popular spots for fishers, crabbers, swimmers, crew teams, and boaters in small vessels. The water's bacteria results are published online the day following the sampling. Owing to a lab's process and analysis, Myers says this is as close as you get to real-time results.
I know as far as like the beach closings and such, a lot of times there's a couple day delay before they even get the results and then close the beach. So this is kind of a new, a more up-to-date information that's available to the public that hasn't been before.
Within the Chesapeake Watershed, many attorneys have found roles as either waterkeepers or as support staff to waterkeepers. All of these positions fall under the Waterkeeper Alliance, founded in part by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in 1999. Fred Kelly, an attorney that serves as the Severn River Keeper, says this haven for attorneys is natural.
Now, the Riverkeeper program is international. Throughout the world, there are about 180 programs, and they virtually all have the same model, which is to use all the arsenals, all the weapons in the arsenal, including lawsuits. And that's a major distinction from all the other previous organizations that really were not as quick to go in the court to stop pollution as the Riverkeepers are.
Kelly offers an example from his own career. When he started the Severn program, Kelly says he warned local developers that if they did not use the latest stormwater technology, he will sue.
They all laughed at me, essentially, because they knew there was no money in my fighting for my river, but most of them didn't realize that that was not the issue for me personally.
One developer went ahead with an inferior stormwater system, and Kelly sued. After a few years in the courtroom, the developer relented and incorporated new stormwater technology into their plans. Kelly, who grew up fishing on the Severn, has continued his fight against storm water runoff and hopes to restore the Severn's once iconic inhabitant, the yellow perch.
If we just stopped 80% of that runoff, we would bring back the yellow perch to the Severn the same way the wolf has been brought back to Yellowstone. And we darn well ought to do it for our children and future generations.